What's up, Explorers? I'm Jeff from the Cloud Explorers. Welcome back to the Microsoft AI Advent Calendar, the Winter Party series. It's time for the 7th episode. I'm not even gonna try this anymore. No more fingers. So, let's see what we have in store for episode 7. Drum rolls as usual. Ta-da! For episode 7, we're gonna do our first call or calls in PowerShell to the Azure Open AI Service API. And in the previous episode, we went ahead and created the API key in a secure way. Basically, we stored it in an Azure Key Vault. And today we're gonna build on top of that, get the API key, get the whole setup, and do a couple of calls. So let's jump in. At first, well, where do I find all the information? Where's everything that I'm using available? It's available again on Microsoft Learn under Quick Starts for chat. The Quick Start, get started with GPT 3.5 Turbo and GPT 4 with Open AI Service. And it has a couple of different examples in different languages. Studio 1 is where you click through the studio. I'm not gonna go through the details of it. Although there is an interesting thing here for the chat session, which are the settings. So if we would jump into the studio for a second, there actually are parameters here, max response, temperature, top P, etc. All of this can also be set through the API. And the detailed explanation about what every setting is can be found here. Again, the link to this page will be in the chat, it will be below the video. So have a read on what is what. Let's return back. And in our case, we're gonna have a look at PowerShell. So I took a look on what was described here, endpoint API keys, etc. Getting the key. Again, we're gonna do this through Key Vault. So we're not gonna put it into environmental variables. And for that, I actually took this PowerShell script and slightly adapted it to my use. And we're gonna see that script inside the Microsoft AI Quick Start repo that I've been using so far, also in the previous episodes. So that branch at least is gonna be linked down below as well. And rightfully so, there's an important message here saying that the way the explanation is done is not the proper way of storing and accessing credentials. Please use PowerShell Secret Management with Azure Key Vault. Well, on the PowerShell Secret Management module, I actually have a blog post, which I will also link down below. In my case, I'm just going to simply query the secret as plain text. Let's have a look on how we can achieve some API greatness. So this is the script. It's called AOI chat.ps1 under scripts. And let's go through it. First, we have a requires. We need the AZ Key Vault module here. Otherwise, we won't be able to use that get AZ Key Vault secret. So there are a couple of Key Vault arguments here, the name of the secret, and in this case I'm using as plain text because I want to simply retrieve it as I need it as plain text to put it into the header. So first set, retrieving the API key. Then we have OpenAI metadata available here, so the API base, the API version, and the model name of the model that's going to be queried in this case. Constructing the header. I'm not sure if ordered is necessary in there as they do in the example, but I left it in. Then we have a set of completion text. First, we have the system message, basically describing how our API is going to behave. And this is where the chat playground is actually very useful because it gives you a bit of information what we're setting here. So we're setting here the system message. Give instructions on about how the model should behave, personality, etc., etc. So that's what we're doing here. We're gonna make it an Xbox customer support agent whose primary goal is to help with issues with Xbox devices. You're friendly, only provide factual answers and queries, and do not provide answers that are not related to Xbox. And this is the question that I'm gonna ask. How much is a PS5? And this is another question that we're gonna ask afterwards. So what do we do here? We adjust these values in the fine-tune completions by simply providing it as a body create here. So this is the, again, this is from the template. We're not sending the request here yet. It's just constructing the URL to the API service. This is where we actually do the request. We're gonna do an invoke REST method. So we're gonna do a REST method call with the header, with the API key, and the body, which contains messages. We're gonna do a post, and we ensure that the content type is application JSON, although this one could have been also added to the header to make it slightly nicer. And then I'm gonna show you the response and the response model. So keep in mind that the account that is running, that I'm already logged in with, already has access to Key Vault to get the secret. If you don't, please make sure you provided the proper permission on the Key Vault. I'm not gonna cover that here. So let's do an F5 and see what we're gonna get. So response dot message. So we can see here that our response is let's do dot content, that way as we can see here that it says apologies, but I'm an Xbox customer support agent and I'm unable to provide pricing information on PS5. Have a look, and it's very nice and concise. So if you have any questions regarding Xbox, it's happy to help. So that's pretty much it with regards to the message. So it behaves as we instructed it to do. Maybe something additional to show is we also show the response model. And if we dig a bit into the response, there's actually something very cool, which is usage. And the usage shows you the prompt tokens, the completion tokens, and the total of tokens used. Keep in mind that I have a quite descriptive content here. Well, there's no limit on how to put the content, at least as far as I know there isn't, but it's going to count in the total tokens consumed. So now let's ask a different question. I'm gonna do it very rudimentally. Comment out. We're gonna ask, I'm interested in buying an Xbox. Let's see what's gonna happen. So again, script finished running. So let's do that content. And the response is, that's great. Xbox offers a range of consoles to choose from. What specific details or questions do you have about purchasing Xbox? And again, we can see here the total usage and total tokens, prompt tokens, completion tokens, total tokens. So what did our prompt do? What did the completion and total? So that's interesting. I expected, based on my information, to have the content also be part of the token. So let's have a look. What does it say here? So tells what you shouldn't answer, tell how format, there's no token limit, but it will be included in every API call. So it counts against the okay, my apologies. So I misread or misunderstood. It actually counts towards the overall token limit. So it's not counting towards the consumed tokens, but towards the token limit. In our case, I think max response is 800. So that would be The maximum is 4,000, so it counts towards this token limit, as I understand it at least. So let's see if we can ask another question. As we're using defaults, it should keep at least a little bit of, where can we see that? Stop sequence, stop P, temperature of history at least. Deployment. Yeah, past messages included. So up to 10 past messages is the default. So it should, since we didn't specify anything, it should remember it. So we can give it another go. So it asked us, where are we? What specific details or questions do we have about purchasing Xbox? Let's ask, what is the cheapest version? So, what is the cheapest version of an Xbox? Oh. Good. Let's run a script. And I'm doing this in debug just to have a little bit more flexibility, but that's definitely not a must. And let's see what we have here. So the cheapest version of Xbox currently available is the S series, priced at $299. So it remembers, as I expected it to be, at least up to 10 past messages. And we can continue querying it like this. So we can also do the same setup in the in our chat playground. So just for to give you a full understanding, I'm gonna do that quickly, and we're gonna do something slightly different. So we select the template here, go for default, simply remove, add a message, and it's gonna be PS5 customer support. And we can see now, let's ask, where can I buy an Xbox? So here, I'm here to help with any questions related to the PlayStation 5. If you want anything else, well, we're not gonna help you, basically, feel free to ask. So interesting thing here in a playground is the JSON. And as you can see here, when I set the system message, actually this part was updated, and this is my question, and this is the response. So it is very similar, or it's actually not similar, it's exactly the same setup as we do here through the API, as the playground uses obviously the same API, and again, the same parameters and everything. One thing to keep in mind though, it says here save settings, so I assumed it remembered it. When I navigate away from OpenAI Studio, this whole assistant setup is reset back to its defaults. So this is really to tweak this. The assistant is designed to tweak whatever you want, take it over into your application. In my case, it's PowerShell, but it can be pretty much anything you want it to be. Configure it there and keep that configuration inside your application, inside your script, whatever, as the chat playground is temporary. And that's pretty much what there is to know about calling the chat through a PowerShell using the API. So if you want to see more on Microsoft AI, check out all the previous episodes. Make sure to subscribe to not to miss the next episodes. If you liked the video, thumbs up. If you didn't, download the shit out of it. Thanks for watching, and until next time, bye bye.